A week ago, we thought Duke versus Miami would determine the Coastal Division title. Not anymore. Miami has self-imposed a bowl ban, just part of one of the most newsworthy weeks the ACC has ever had. This one's coming up at 12:30. We have it all coming up next on ACC Kickoff Live.
Two teams are 10-1, and it's what the Florida State game ought to be.
Judgment Day is here. 4 ACC teams with the chance to take down the mighty SEC. And for Florida State and Clemson, BCS implications. Plus,
and Jimbo Fisher and his Florida State Seminoles lock up a berth in the Dr. Pepper ACC championship game.
It's the Seminoles and Georgia Tech for the ACC title. Can Dorsey's Yellow Jackets pull off the huge upset? We break it down.
Yeah, maybe you'll play here one day. I was like, yeah, maybe so.
Tajh Boyd seemed destined to be a Tiger from the start, and boy are Clemson fans happy about it. We bring you Tajh's journey to Death Valley coming up. This is ACC Kickoff Live.
It is the final Saturday morning of the regular season. Welcome to ACC Kickoff Live. I'm Jeff Fishel with two of the greats from ACC history, Riley Skinner, Dorsey Levens. We're here to talk about all the big games today, including Judgment Day versus ACC versus SEC. But Riley, first, we know now with Miami self-imposing, we have our ACC championship game.
Yeah, we do. I think we were pretty sure of who was going to be from the Atlantic side for a while now with Florida State after they beat Clemson. But I mean, it took till week 13 to know what the Coastal was going to hold. It's been a crazy year on that side, but Georgia Tech getting into it. They have been hot of late, but with the Miami bowl ban and the North Carolina sanction, we finally played itself out. But before we get to next week, this weekend is huge for the ACC. Like you said, Judgment Day, ACC, SEC teams, all this argument we've been making, this is where you validate that argument.
Absolutely, I agree 100%. This is Judgment Day. It's time to show and prove. Put up or shut up. We've been complaining this year. We've been upset. We've been frustrated at where the ACC has been ranked in the BCS. Well, this week we have a chance to show and prove. Respect is earned. It's not given. And this is the week we earn our respect and beat the SEC.
Florida State, Clemson, Georgia, Florida, South Carolina, 5 of the top 12 teams in the country going at it today. Great day for football. Here are the Judgment Day entrees on the Saturday menu. Brought to you by Ruby Tuesday. Vanderbilt versus Wake Forest.
Well, if Wake wants to get to a bowl game, if this is the only time they could do it with 5 wins, they're going to have a tough feat ahead of them with Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's playing well as of late. The defense for Wake Forest has got to stop running back Zach Stacy.
Georgia Tech and Georgia.
Georgia Tech has a big one today down in Athens, playing against the number 3 ranked team in the country. Georgia is stacked both offensively and defensively. Georgia Tech has to play a great game to win today.
South Carolina, Clemson.
Well, the most heated rivalry, in my opinion, this weekend. I think defense for Clemson is going to be the biggest thing today. We know that offense is going to put up a lot of points, but the defense has got to step up and stop running back Kenny Miles.
And Florida State takes on Florida. For the Noles, this isn't just about a rivalry. It's not just about trying to move up the BCS rankings. It's about respect, proving what they've been saying for a while. The computers can't see how good this team is. E.J. Manuel says they must play their best.
Got a lot of, fast guys, athletic guys. They play smart. I think you're going to have to take what you can get from them. As far as our offense, we have to execute and just take the plays, like I said, when you have the opportunity to do it.
It's two teams are 10-1, and it's what the Florida State game ought to be. It's why you come here to be able to compete in these games and play in these games, and it ought to be a great atmosphere and environment and a great opportunity for our team to continue to grow and hopefully have a great season.
BCS rankings sure do look different than last week. Numbers 1 and 2, Kansas State and Oregon lost. Future ACC member Notre Dame, now the only undefeated team, the clear number 1. If the Irish beat Southern California today, they're in the title game. Oregon and Kansas State fell, but are still above Florida State and Clemson at 10 and 11. Now, clearly, if the Noles were undefeated, they'd be in position to go to the BCS Bowl. There is a scenario that would put the Noles in the title game. Georgia Tech beats Georgia. Georgia then beats Alabama. Oregon and K-State lose again. Probably wouldn't hurt if Notre Dame loses to USC. And, of course, the Noles must beat Florida and Georgia Tech if all that happens, and then maybe the planets are all aligned. Maybe they can get in. Dorsey, what's the key to impressing voters today? What's the key for Florida State to really move up in the rankings?
I think the key for Florida State to move up in the rankings, they have to go out there and dominate. I mean, this is a good Florida team, especially on the defensive side of the ball, but they got to go out there offensively. It all starts with E.J. Manuel. They have to move the ball up and down the football field against, like I said, that tough defense. Devontae Freeman, running back, has to have a solid game rushing the ball. He had a good game last week. he has to continue improving upon that. And Rashad Green, their wide receiver, has to have a big day in special teams for these guys to win.
Well, I think offense is key, but to me, I think the defense is what's going to win this game for Florida State. And it starts with Bjorn Warner and Tank Carradine, the two bookends. They've got to get to quarterback Jeff Driscoll early. He's a guy who's had some ankle problems, so he's not 100%. And this is what Bjorn Warner brings to the table. Look at the leverage from the 260-pound defensive end. They try to bring a running back over, Justice Pickett, to help block him. This is just brute strength to throw him on his heels, get off the offensive lineman, and find quarterback Sean Petty. He's got a tremendous motor, and again, look how low he starts. It's the get off. It's the quickness that he brings to the table. And offensive tackle Chantrell Henderson, this is just grown man strength, just helmet to helmet, and that's what he does. He doesn't try to beat you with finesse. He's quick, he's fast, he's got a motor, but he's got strength unlike anybody else in the ACC. And his partner, Tank Carradine, look at the athletic ability from the 265-pound defensive end. He's going to fake a stunt left, fake twist, and look at the quick hands. He gets a swim move, and now it's pursuit on Stephen Morris, how fast he is. I mean, he takes his eyes, puts it on Stephen Morris, and never lets him off. And Stephen Morris is an athletic guy, but to see what Tank Carradine can do in the pursuit of the football, I mean, it's hard to have linebackers and defensive backs make those kind of moves. And when you've got bookends like that can wreak that much havoc on quarterback, it creates a lot of problems, and they've got to start that early if they got a chance to beat Florida.
Okay, so what do you think the Noles need to do today to move up the BCS rankings? Is there anything that can happen to get them to number 2? Tweet us your opinions at the ACCDN. We read the good ones on the show. We do. Meanwhile, the other big one, the Clemson-South Carolina matchup, definitely about contrasts. Clemson relies on offense, South Carolina defense. The Tigers averaging 44 points a game. The Gamecocks defense allowing only 17 a game. The Tigers are accustomed to picking up 200 more yards than South Carolina allows. Last week, Clemson gained 754 yards against North Carolina State, but Clemson has not beaten South Carolina since 2008, and Coach Dabo Swinney says that really stings.
Yeah, you'd be incredibly disappointed if you don't win this ball game. You dang right, because it's not only the biggest game of the year, it's the most special, and you got to live with it all year. This is pride. This is state pride.
All right, Tajh Boyd, Nuke Hopkins, Sammy Watkins, Brandon Ford, Andre Ellington. We know they can make big plays, but it's tougher today against the South Carolina defense.
Well, it is. I mean, South Carolina's got a very good defense, but the good thing for Clemson, South Carolina's strength of their defense is the front seven, and the best part about Clemson is their passing game. So stick to what you do best. If you're Clemson, offensive coordinator Chad Morris, stretch the ball, stretch the field. Get Sammy Watkins and Nuke Hopkins both going deep, because they create big plays, game after game. And this isn't a South Carolina defense that's going to be able to allow you to have 15, 20, 25 play drive. So I think the big play is going to be huge here. But to me, the X factor in this game for Clemson offense is going to be running back Andre Ellington. I think he's going to the one that can set up those big plays if he gets a couple big plays early on.
All right, Dorsey, that's the offense. What about Clemson's defense today against South Carolina?
Well, I think defensively they're going to have some issues. I mean, last week against North Carolina State, they gave up nearly 600 yards and 48 points. They have to be sure on defense because they can't get into it. You don't want to get into a shootout with South Carolina. What Clemson has been doing is outscoring people. They need to stop these guys so that the offense doesn't have to put up 1,000,000 points, because they put so much pressure on the offense when the defense doesn't show up. But offensively, this is the guy right here on special teams. He's got to get the ball as many times as possible. I know they'll do some things offensively, but in the punt game, in the kick game, I know sometimes he's out there, sometimes Sammy Watkins is, sometimes he's not. He's got to be out there every single time, and every time they kick the ball, it needs to be in his hands, because he's the most explosive player on the football field. And you want to win big games, you got to get your most explosive players involved.
I agree. I think special teams are going to be huge with these rival games. It always comes down to a big play that breaks open the game. And I'll tell you what, South Carolina with Ace Sanders, they've got a special one as well. It's going to be fun to see both these guys return kicks.
We know this about this rivalry. The coaches don't just say the PC things. Kelly Nash, this season we've heard Dabo Swinney and the old ball coach Steve Spurrier taking taking some shots at each other, but they've been pretty well behaved this week, right?
That's right. This whole season, we've seen a war of words between this duo. But this week, they're playing nice, actually complimenting each other's programs. Spurrier, who's insulted Sweeney several times this season, even came out and said, I like Dabo Sweeney. Clemson and the offense they have is by far the best we'll play against all year. Sweeney, of course, returning the favor, complimenting that Gamecocks defense, saying it is as good as we've played, as good as we will play, and as good as anybody will play. Of course, guys, regardless of what these two are saying, this game is going to be heated. Now, moving on to the biggest story across the conference this week, Maryland announcing its move to the Big Ten. ACC Commissioner John Swofford releasing this statement. Our best wishes are extended to all of the people associated with the University of Maryland. Since our inception, they have been an outstanding member of our conference, and we are so sorry to see them exit. For the past 60 years, the Atlantic Coast Conference has exhibited leadership in academics and athletics. This is our foundation, and we look forward to building on it as we move forward. Guys, everyone wondering what's next for the ACC, who they'll bring in to replace Maryland. Of course, guys, we'll be watching this story like a hawk.
All right, Kelly, thank you. More from her later in the show, and more on Judgment Day, including an ACC division champ going against an SEC division champ. Will Georgia Tech and Georgia be focused on their rivalry or thinking about next week? Georgia Tech is in the ACC title game after Miami made a decision to self-impose a bowl ban again. The impact the decision is having on these players and on the program. And Tajh Boyd is shredding defense and school records. His family made some sacrifices to help him get here.
What do you call a machine that combines precision-engineered handling, industry-leading power, and a rider-focused design? We call it a Can-Am. From the essentials to fully loaded, you'll find that same combination in every ATV and side-by-side we build. And right now, get your own for as low as $149 a month. Can-Am, the ride says it all.
Jeff Fishel here with another ACC Now and Then, brought to you by Ruby Tuesday. Boston College wide receiver Alex Amidon added to his new school record for receiving last weekend versus Virginia Tech. In 2007, former Eagles quarterback Matt Ryan set the ACC passing record with 4,507 yards. That year, Matty Ice was the Conference Player of the Year and the winner of the Johnny Unitas Award.
Brought to you by Ruby Tuesday. Enjoy our new mixed grill special starting at $11.99.
At the Jeep Summer Clearance event, you can make this summer your time. Time to find your power and lose your doubts. Time to steer clear of the ordinary and make room for the extraordinary. Just like the deals you'll find at the Jeep Summer Clearance event.
You can't keep greatness in a box, so we won't. The ACC mobile app presented by Carrabba's. Imagine seeing this on this. That's greatness. For the ACC schools you live for, it's the app you can't live without. Available on your iPhone, iPad, Android, and Nokia Lumia Windows Phone. The ACC mobile app, live games, video, scores, stats, news, and greatness. Visit theacc.com/apps.
Why not try someplace different every morning? Get 2 times the points on dining in restaurants with J Sapphire Preferred.
For more on this last Saturday of the regular season, check out the ACC Blitz powered by Ram. Host Tom Wormy and the coach, Tommy Bowden, look at all of today's games and break down the bowl possibilities for the conference. It's the ACC Blitz powered by Ram at noon Eastern on the ACC Network. Check your local listings. Another of the big Judgment Day matchups, Georgia Tech, Georgia. Clean, old-fashioned hate. Georgia Tech won in 2008, before that 2000. But other than that, it's been a rough new millennium. Dorsey, Georgia Tech offense has been fantastic, though, the last 3 weeks, 48 points a game.
Yeah, they have been, and really been clicking on all cylinders. The triple option has to continue to move the football up and down the football field because Georgia's defense is extremely strong and extremely stout, especially up the middle. They have to execute. They have to get downfield, and they have to cut block people. Now, Mark Richt, Georgia's head coach, is brilliant. He scheduled Georgia Southern last week, who also runs a triple option. So Georgia Tech won't have a chance to sneak up on them like they will some other teams. But at the end of the day, Georgia Tech is going to have to pass the football beat this team. We know what they can do running the ball. It's no secret. Everybody in the country knows what they can do. But can they pass the ball when everyone knows they have to pass the ball, like on 3rd and 15 or 2nd and long? When Georgia knows they're going to pass the ball, can they pass the ball effectively in that situation? That's going to be one of the biggest keys to this game.
Well, talking about passing the football, I think one thing they've got to do, especially against a Georgia defense who can stop the run if they want to, they need to pass on 1st and 2nd down. Not like you were saying when they have to, 3rd and 15. When it's 1st and 2nd down, that's when you mix it up. That's when you keep Georgia guessing. You get them on their heels a little bit, because if you get linebacker Jarvis Jones, if you get him running downhill and he knows it's going to be a run, it could be a long day for Georgia Tech. So I think they need to pass it early. And then on the defensive side of the ball, that's kind of been their Achilles heel all year. Aaron Murray and company, they have the ability to put up 50-plus points like they did against Tennessee, but also if Georgia Tech can get to them early, they've shown they have some struggles in that offense.
I don't think it'd be a surprise at all if we see 80 points or more total in this game.
Well, both teams are averaging over 37 points a game. The problem with Georgia Tech is that they're giving up over 30 points.
Yeah. All right, one more ACC-SEC matchup. The Demon Deacons, Wake Forest against Vanderbilt, a must-win for Jim Grobe's team. They need it to become bowl eligible, Riley. How does Tanner Price attack this Vandy D?
It's been tough to watch this year because they haven't got the passing game going the way they want. Michael Campanaro has been hurt and on the field, and when he's been on, he's been great. But Tanner Price really hasn't gotten to the rhythm. And what I think they need to do, they need to push the ball down the field. They don't take enough shots in the passing game. They throw laterally. They like to throw to the sidelines. But get it to wide receiver Terrence Davis, who can go up and jump out of the gym. I've played with this kid. He's got the hops. He can do it. Even, if it's 1st or 2nd down, just get those shots downfield to have the possibility to create big plays. Because if you keep trying to go 5 yards at a time, eventually there's going to be some, miscommunication, some drop balls, and that's when they stall. And I think running back Josh Harris has also got to get involved. He's been, a little less stellar than they had hoped this year. The offense in general has just been struggling. So I think it comes down to throwing the football down the field and get a consistent run game.
So those are 4 great non-conference games, the ACC-SEC matchups. There are also 4 conference games. Let's go through our final Saturday menu of the season, brought to you by Ruby Tuesday, Virginia and Virginia Tech.
Well, Virginia Tech's going for a bowl game. This is a must-win, not only into rival game. In Virginia, they've been having another quarterback carousel. Sims or Rocca, who's it going to be? They need to get one to have the hot hand to have a chance to beat the Hokies.
Maryland's first game since the big news, taking on North Carolina.
Yeah, for Maryland, the season can't end soon enough. It's going to be an off-season of healing emotionally and physically. For North Carolina, the season ends too soon. Would be in the ACC Championship representing the Coastal, all things considered.
BC, NC State.
I think this is a game of the quarterbacks with Mike Glennon and Chase Reddick. Both can dissect defenses and shred them in the passing game, and I think we're going to see a lot of passing yards today. The question is, who has the most?
Miami and Duke, the game could have been so big. Duke was the division leader, but the Blue Devils lost 3 straight. A week ago, we thought Miami would just need a win today to win the Coastal, but Monday the school announced it would not be eligible for a bowl game for the 2nd straight season. Canes coach Al Golden says he's incredibly proud of his team.
I'm humbled and grateful for some of the comments that have been relayed to me by the likes of Mike James or Randy Johnson, just talking about what it means to play here and how they wouldn't trade it for anything. And as I said Saturday night, when we didn't know what we were facing, we have a lot of young men like that have answered the call here, and they deserve credit.
Okay, guys, you're the Miami administration. How do you tell the players, we're sorry, we know this isn't your fault, but this is something we have to do?
I think, you really just sit down to the football team and say, listen, we made some mistakes. Obviously, there are going to be some repercussions. What we try to do is be proactive so this doesn't continue or prolong for a longer period of time. Hopefully 2 years, a postseason ban will be enough. Now you can move forward. You can put everything in the rearview mirror, look behind you. I think it'll be great for recruiting as well, because kids don't want to go to a school who might not be eligible to play in the postseason. So I think it's the right move. Move forward, full speed ahead, put the past behind you, and let's make it happen.
Well, I think in the long run, it's the right decision. But for me, if you're a senior, Coach Golden's talking about all the young guys that are bought in. But what about the seniors who last year had the same thing happen to them? Their postseason game hopes got taken away again. I feel bad for those guys that have put in their heart, blood, sweat, and tears into this and don't get to play in the postseason or even compete for an ACC championship, which they could have done if they beat Duke this weekend. And so when I was a senior, we didn't go to a bowl. That was the only year in my 4 years we didn't go to a bowl. And I'm not going to lie. I mean, it hurt. It still sticks with me that we didn't get to play in the postseason. So I feel for the seniors. I think, unfortunately, it's kind of a lose-lose situation. But I think in the long run, like you said, Doris, probably the best thing to do.
This team has certainly positioned itself to do well in the long term, but certainly it hurts right now. Remember when this season started, this was going to be the year of the quarterback. It's time to assess if the QBs lived up to the hype and who's been second best after the incomparable Tajh Boyd. Plus, a look at how he got the best. He got to be the best. That's next. You can't keep greatness in a box, so we won't. The ACC mobile app presented by Carrabba's. Imagine seeing this on this. That's greatness. For the ACC schools you live for, it's the app you can't live without. Available on your iPhone, iPad, Android, and Nokia Lumia Windows Phone. The ACC mobile app, live games, videos, scores, stats, news, and greatness. Visit theacc.com/apps. Jeff Fishel here with another ACC Now and Then, brought to you by Ruby Tuesday. Boston College wide receiver Alex Amidon added to his new school record for receiving last weekend versus Virginia Tech. In 2007, former Eagles quarterback Matt Ryan set the ACC passing record with 4,507 yards. That year, Matty Ice was the Conference Player of the Year and the winner of the Johnny Unitas Award.
Brought to you by Ruby Tuesday. Enjoy our new mixed grill special starting at $11.99.
At the Jeep Summer Clearance event, you can make this summer your time. Time to find your power and lose your doubts. Time to steer clear of the ordinary and make room for the extraordinary. Just like the deals you'll find at the Jeep Summer Clearance event.
The ACC Digital Network, the ultimate video destination for ACC fans. Exclusive highlights, live streaming games, and original live programming, unique access to the student athletes of our time and the legendary voices of all time. Defining moments, personal stories, incredible analysis from authentic ACC sources, cutting-edge content from the leaders in the digital space. The ACC Digital Network, brought to you by Ruby Tuesday.
Experience unique culinary pairings with Ruby Tuesday's new mixed grill specials starting at $11.99, including our baby back ribs and bacon wrapped shrimp. And of course, enjoy our free garden bar with any mixed grill special or chef-inspired entree. Ruby Tuesday, it's all good here.
Way back in the summer, we were calling this the year of the quarterback in the ACC. 10 schools with returning starting quarterbacks. Only 2 schools needed to find a starter, Miami and Maryland. The Terps only because C.J. Brown tore his ACL. Stephen Morris has been great. We know the Terps situation obviously has been awful because of the injuries. For everyone else, did this year live up to the hype? Tajh Boyd has certainly had the numbers. Let's take a look at what he did this season. Number 2 in college football in passing efficiency, E.J. Manuel on pace right now to finish his career number 1 all-time in the AC in completion percentage. I think ahead of you, right?
Barely. Yes, it's ahead, though.
Mike Glennon's on pace for a 4,000-yard season, and Duke's Sean Renfrey could become just the 10th quarterback in ACC history to pass for over 9,000 yards in his career. You do have over 9,000 yards.
That is true, but those records only lasted for about a year, and they were short-lived.
We were talking about Mike Glennon, his fantastic season. The Wolfpack headed to a bowl game, but they finish out the regular season today against Boston College. Riley, the Eagles are not going bowling, despite the fact that Chase Reddick has shown he will be one of the best quarterbacks next year in the ACC.
This, like I've said all along, this is a surprise to me of the year in the ACC in terms of quarterback play. He is really dissected. He's been surgical with the football. Him and Alex Amidon really got into a rhythm from game 1, and it's been great to see, but unfortunately, he hasn't got much help on the defensive side of the ball or in the run game, so it's been all on him. But look, if he gets going, I mean, like Tajh Boyd did last week, just completely torched that NC State secondary. Chase Reddick and his receiving corps, they definitely have the ability to do that. So I'd watch out if I were NC State secondary.
Reddick and the Eagles taking on Glennon and the Wolfpack. Dorsey, Glennon has really carried this team at times this season.
He really have. I mean, offensively, he's really been their only option. You saw in the still shot earlier, 3,400 yards passing, 7th in the BCS. He's had an outstanding year. You know, we know he's 6'6", 230 pounds. Great standing in the pocket, can see over the line of scrimmage. You can see right there he has a rocket arm. Did get sacked 33 times this year, but I think a lot of that had to do with some O-line issues as well as the lack of a running game. Like we said, he's the guy who had to do everything. Did throw 14 interceptions this year, but overall had a pretty outstanding year. Think about the game he had against Clemson. Like I said, almost 600 yards of total offense. They put up 48 points. And then he was the guy who led the drive to beat Florida State, to upset those guys.
If I'm a quarterback and I'm putting up 48 points, that many yards, and we lose,
you're doing your job.
I'd be a little ticked. Yeah, you can't blame Glennon.
Another big battle today. It's the battle for the Commonwealth Cup, Virginia and Virginia Tech. Last year, this one was for the Coastal Division title. Both teams have taken a big step backward in 2012. Still talking this year of the quarterback. The problem for Mike London, Riley, he has two of them, and he can't decide which one's going to get this team going.
No, we thought we had Mike Rocco playing for the first part of the season. Then he started going downhill. Enter Phillip Sims. Phillip Sims has his struggles. They start rotating. They have a bad loss on national television last Thursday, North Carolina. But here is why I think this is such an issue. These quarterbacks are too similar. Nothing really sets him apart. Phillip Sims is not that great of a runner like everybody thinks. And they both throw the football, good, not great, but nothing sets them apart. So when they bring another one in, they don't have a new dynamic that's brought to the offense. It's not like, a Tebow Chris league. It's not a running quarterback, throwing quarterback. So when you have two quarterbacks that are that similar, just stick with one. Quit trying to go back and forth because you break all rhythm. No one gets going, and everybody around the offense, they just don't know what to expect, every other series when there's a new guy in the huddle.
And they may have to go through this again this next season. Rocco's a junior, Sims is a sophomore, so we could see this whole thing play out again next season. Hopefully Mike London finds one that can really lead this team next season. Meanwhile, Virginia Tech, a huge game for them because the Hokies must win to go to a bowl game. Logan Thomas got a lot of credit last year. Dorsey, does he deserve some of the blame this year?
He deserves some of the blame, but not all of it. I think coming into the season, expectation level was so high based on what he had done last season. But, we've talked about it time and time again. The offensive line issues early on, I think, really set this team back. Just like we talked about North Carolina State, Virginia Tech really couldn't run the football all season. So the onus falls on Logan Thomas to be the entire offense. That's kind of hard to do. So 16 touchdown passes, 14 interceptions, but he was on his back a lot as well, sacked 18 times, which, Riley, as you know, it's kind of hard to throw the ball off your back.
Yeah, and especially when they ask him to run the ball so much and throw and coming back play after play. I have a hard time blaming Logan Thomas entirely on this offense. He should have been the leader. He should have been the one to get them going. He did not throw the ball nearly as well as we thought, though, that he should have thrown the ball. He missed a lot of open receivers this year. But there's a lot more than just, one person on that offense that struggled.
This one's coming up at noon. Now, I'm going to go out on a limb here talking quarterbacks. Tajh Boyd will be the first-team All-ACC quarterback this year. Even though Dorsey's made a good argument for Gio Bernard being the ACC Player of the Year, I'd still probably be surprised if it's not Tajh Boyd. And by the way, it always seemed like Tajh Boyd knew he would be a Tiger.
We were actually on the way back from Albany, Georgia for a family reunion, headed back to Virginia. And at this point, we've never been to a college before or checked out a university.
I seen a sign that said Clemson University. So I stopped right out the exit and I asked the lady, how far is Clemson from here? And she was like, well, it's only a couple of miles down the road. All you gotta do is follow the paw print. And so I'm excited. I'm like a kid in a candy store because I always wanted to see Death Valley.
We walked in and the secretary asked, could they help us? And we was like, no, we're just gonna look around. We was looking at all the trophies and the accolades and things like that. And she said, Coach Bowden just got back from his run. If you guys want to wait for a little bit.
And I'm like, Tajh, did you hear that? We can meet Tommy Bowden.
And as we talked, he was like, maybe you'll play here one day. I was like, yeah, maybe so. And I never thought in a million years that I'd be here.
Little did Tajh know that the family's faithful detour off Interstate 85 would end up changing his life forever. And for Tajh, family has always been an important part of his life.
Everything we've done it together. Decisions on where to go to school, what type of area we're gonna live in. Even, my college decision.
We stuck together through thick and through thin, and we pushed each other, we drove each other.
In a sense, my dad wasn't there to raise me. I felt like, the dad gotta be there for his sons.
When we were born, he was 10 years into the Navy, decided that, You know, instead of, you know, going to 20 and retiring fully, he wanted to just get out and, you know, teach me and my brother, you know, way of life, how to play football, things in school and things of that nature, and I'm definitely grateful for it.
Well, he kept wanting to be a quarterback, so I kind of like took it to another level and ordering films, buying footballs bigger than what he played with. You know, just little things like pointing the ball back, you know, before you throw it.
When I was about 10 or 11, he went out and bought a target, and we used to go out behind middle school and just go in the winter and just throw.
And so, you know, people ask me today, well, how can throw the football like that? You know, but it's certain things that he done growing up, which I didn't make him do half of the things that he done. He took it upon himself to work on the things that I did teach him, and he came, you know, this is where he at right now.
It was that same hard work and determination that helped turn Tajh into one of the most heavily recruited quarterbacks in the country. But it was only after another family decision to pick up and move from Virginia Beach to Hampton when all of Tajh's football aspirations began to take off.
In high school, you don't really realize, you know, if a kid could play college football, but if he wanted to play D1 football, we had to make that move over there across the water.
You know, some of the former players that were there were the Vicks, the Allen Iversons, Ronald Curry, Tyrod Taylor, Marcus Higgins, the list goes on.
If Tajh can come over here and play in this environment, he can definitely play college football.
Not only was Tajh able to play at that level, he dominated. In his 3.5 years there, he would go 43-2 as a starter, with 2 state championships, while representing Virginia's most famous area code, the 757.
It's almost like a fraternity. People are proud to say they're from the 757. You know, it's just one of those things that it's like an elite area and fraternity to be in, and you know, just proud to be a part of that area. And everything we do, we try to do it to the fullest. That type of foundation, you know, from the middle of my 9th grade year to me graduating high school, has helped me become the type of person and player that I am today. Turns out to be one of the best decisions that you know, we've made together.
And while the Clemson faithful have become Tajh's new family, it's the support of his immediate family that he attributes all of his success. And more than a decade later from that faithful turn down Clemson Boulevard, the Boyd family has found a new home. It's just a couple miles down the road from Clemson in Seneca, South Carolina.
It's a blessing to have him here, honestly, because I can always go to the house, just kick it. You know, when funds get low, Mom will cook something up. You know, if I don't want to go eat nothing or buy nothing to eat, and just go back and just chill.
Good to see you. A home away from home, peace and quiet, a good cooked meal, you know, a little spoiling.
You're going to have your friends or whatever, but it's hard to distinguish, you know, who's really there for what reasons, you know. So with fam, it's always one of those deals where it's, you know, they always got my back, so it's a good deal.
So the families helped him get here. Great story. Today versus South Carolina. Dorsey, this is a chance today against the Gamecocks to impress Heisman voters.
Yeah, like we said, this is Judgment Day. And good for Tajh Boyd. His name has been popping up all over the country and on the Heisman watch list because he's played outstanding the last few games. But this is it. Show and prove. He's had one big game on a national stage against Florida State, and E.J. Manuel stole the spotlight on that day. This is his second chance and his last chance because they're not going to play in the ACC Championship, and by the time the bowl game comes around, the Heisman will already be handed out. So this is his chance. You got one chance, like Eminem. You got one chance to show and prove. What you gonna do?
I checked ESPN and CBS Sports this morning. They both have him right now 6th in their Heisman voting. Let's get to our resident Clemson graduate, Kelly Nash. Kelly, the Orange Empire loves him some Tajh Boyd, but they have one big question, don't they?
Wait a second, Jeff. Did you just out me to ACC Nation as a Clemson fan?
Am I wrong?
I'm a lover of all things ACC. Come on. Now, you know those Clemson fans, check out the winking, love Tajh Boyd, and even though he's eligible to go pro after this season, they're really holding out hope he's going to stay. Here's Clemson fan Caroline Bradley.
Hey Dorsey and Riley, I have a question for you about Tajh Boyd. You mentioned earlier this week he might leave Clemson early to go pro. What do you guys think? Should he test the NFL draft waters or stay at Clemson for his senior year?
I would say no. I think he probably is NFL ready, but I've been a part of teams where guys have left early as juniors. Other people tell them in their ear that they're going to be, top first rounders, and what they're told a lot of times doesn't come to fruition in the end. I think Tajh Boyd is an unbelievable quarterback. He is a fantastic player. I hope that he kind of puts everything into perspective. What they have the ability to accomplish with the guys coming back next year with Sammy Watkins and Nuke Hopkins. I mean, could be a legendary trio, and from the passing game standpoint. So I hope he doesn't leave. Will he leave? I'm actually leaning towards no. I think he really enjoys Clemson. You can see from that film that family loves the area, and hopefully he'll stay.
He may go. I think he may go. I mean, but like you said, you got two great wide receivers. I'm not sure if he goes to the NFL, you're going to have two receivers that good in those two young guys that he has. So the jury's still out. I mean, I think if he goes, he'll have a great NFL career and he'll be a great NFL player. So
Dabo says he'd be very surprised if Tajh leaves now. Sweeney thinks guys should only leave if they're going to be a first-round pick. So we'll see what Tajh finds out about his status. The ACC has 3 of the top 11 all-purpose threats in all of college football. Gio, Diggs, Duke. Which one of them will be the best in the NFL? That's next.
What do you call a machine that combines precision-engineered handling, industry-leading power, and a rider-focused design? We call it a Can-Am. From the essentials to fully loaded, you'll find that same combination in every ATV and side-by-side we build. And right now, get your own for as low as $149 a month. Can-Am, the ride says it all.
You can't keep greatness in a box, so we won't. The ACC mobile app presented by Carrabba's. Imagine seeing this on this. That's greatness. For the ACC schools you live for, it's the app you can't live without. Available on your iPhone, iPad, Android, and Nokia Lumia Windows Phone. The ACC mobile app, live games, video, scores, stats, news, and greatness. Visit theacc.com/apps.
At the Jeep Summer Clearance event, you can make this summer your time. Time to find your power and lose your doubts. Time to steer clear of the ordinary and make room for the extraordinary. Just like the deals you'll find at the Jeep Summer Clearance event.
Ever wonder where unforgettable experiences meet unique culinary pairings? At Ruby Tuesday with our new mixed grill specials starting at $11.99. Including our new South Tropic Trio with a black fire sirloin, grilled chicken topped with fresh mango salsa, and jumbo coconut crusted shrimp, or savory ribs and bacon wrapped shrimp. And our fresh garden bar comes free with any of our mixed grill specials. Ruby Tuesday, it's all good here. Plus, this season, buy $50 in Ruby Tuesday gift cards and get a $15 bonus card absolutely free.
Good afternoon, Chase Sapphire. This is Stacy from Springfield.
Oh,
Hello?
yes, I didn't realize you'd be talking to an actual person.
You don't need to press 0. I'm here.
Reach a person, not a prompt, whenever you call Chase Sapphire.
Here in Miami, it's the Duke Johnson Show. Duke-O-Mania continues.
He is amazing.
The freshman is something special.
Not the X's and O's, it's the Jimmies and Joes.
He may be a freshman, but he doesn't play like a freshman.
How about the show that this kid has put on today?
No, he's not. Yes, he is. Gio is going to take it for a touchdown. Are you kidding me?
No doubt, the ACC has some of the best all-purpose performers in the country. Gio Bernard is 5th. Stephon Diggs is 9th. Duke Johnson is 11th. Tobias Palmer is number 22. Diggs and Johnson are the top 2 freshmen in the country. Last week, Palmer had 496 all-purpose yards against Clemson. That's the second best total in FBS history. We've seen an incredible number of kickoff and punt returns this season. That all goes into piling up the yards. There those guys are. They're incredible. Welcome back to ACC Kickoff Live with Dorsey Levens and Riley Skinner. I'm Jeff Fishel. 2 of those all-purpose phenoms on the field against each other today. North Carolina and Gio Bernard against Maryland and Stephon Diggs. Okay, guys, Riley, start with you. Who's the best all-purpose performer in the ACC?
I'm going to go on a limb, and it's may surprise. I think Stephon Diggs for Maryland, and here is why. This guy is a true freshman. He has over 1,600 all-purpose yards, almost 770 receiving yards, and 6 touchdowns. But the thing that surprises me, he's doing this with a team that has gone through 5 quarterbacks. They have a linebacker playing quarterback. He's making a lot of these plays on his own. He's creating something out of nothing week in and week out. He does it in a return game. He does it in a receiving game. And what he's able to do on his own as a true freshman, 18 years old, with an offensive team that is in complete disarray, with no due respect to the last couple of quarterbacks for Maryland, but they can't throw the ball very well. And I mean, there's a lot of, here's a ball, you go make a play, and Stephon Diggs is making that play. And that's why I think he's the best.
Dorsey, your pick.
I'm going to go with Gio Bernard. You know, I've had a man crush on him.
I know you would. No surprise to anybody.
Gio is my guy because he can do it all. You know, in the run game, in the pass game, he makes big plays and big moments as well. And you can see here, he breaks tackles. He can stiff arm, break tackles. He can outrun people. There's nothing this guy cannot do. And here you are, big plays and big moments. Here the game is on the line. He returns the punt to the house for a touchdown, game-changing moment. And also for Gio and the other guys on the board, with no respect and no disrespect to any of those guys, because they're all very talented. Gio is a grown man. He's more mature than those other guys. Those other guys are freshmen, and
is it
one day,
sophomore?
One day they will be ready for pro football. But Gio is ready right now. And let me tell you, the NFL is for grown men. One of the things I've realized when I got there was there are a bunch of grown men around here. There's no kids. This is for real. Gio is physically mature, and I think mentally he can handle it as well because he's a leader.
Is that why I didn't last very well?
I'm not really sure what happened to you, Riley. Probably because you threw a ball to Mark Herslig again in practice. Is that what you did?
We know you have an opinion about these guys, Gio, Duke, and Diggs. Kelly Nash, what are fans saying? Which one of these guys do they think might be the best in the NFL?
That's right. We reached out to them on Facebook.com/the ACC. Let's take a look at the results, see how Dorsey and Riley fared. Dorsey and the fans on the same page. No surprise there, really. Gio with the most votes. He'll also be facing the decision after the season to go pro or stay. Sammy Watkins not far at second at 29%. Bjorn Werner at 15%, and then Diggs and Duke Johnson. Guys, I know I'm in a dress today. This isn't my most ladylike maneuver, but Dorsey, this fist bump's for you, buddy.
There it is.
Man. Yes.
The last one of the regular season.
Yep,
Riley, he's just an outcast.
I know, I am.
Dorsey's ready to do a victory
getting
lap.
The stiff arm from Kelly. You're getting the fist bump. I'm getting the straight stiff arm.
Kelly, thank you. By the way, who do you think is the best ACC player? Who do you think the best ACC player will be in the NFL? Tweet us at the ACCDN. Duke Johnson, he didn't get some love from the voters, but there he is. He and the Hurricanes wrapping up the season this afternoon at Duke. The Canes players thought they'd be playing for a division title today, but now another empty bowl season due to self-imposed sanctions. Tim Brandt, Dave Archer are calling this one for the ACC Network. They have a preview.
Today we're in Durham, North Carolina, Wallace Wade Stadium. The tradition here continues, the 100th season of Duke football. And what a tradition it is. The only place outside of Pasadena where they held the Rose Bowl, that was back in 1942 because of the war years. Well, football's coming back. This is the first bowl appearance they will have had since 1994. When you look at this team, it's an exciting team. Miami comes in here with a young, talented football team. Duke Johnson is certainly the guy that you look for big plays.
Well, Duke Johnson, one of the best freshmen, not only in the ACC, but in the country. And this kid will kill you in a lot of different ways. He leads the Miami Hurricanes in rushing. He's been dynamic. 5'8", 190 pounds, has great speed, but the kid will crush you in special teams as well. He has 2 long kickoff returns for touchdown. Duke has got to find a way to find this Duke and get him on the ground.
They'll be duking with him all afternoon. And then on the other side, of course, you look at Duke University, and you've got Renfrey, the time-tested veteran at quarterback. Boy, he's got some good receivers.
Well, it's a crew that really feels like they know what they're doing, and David Cutcliffe has cut this kid's teeth. This is a young guy that grew up in this system. We know about David Cutcliffe's ability to coach quarterbacks. Renfrey's been phenomenal. Had an outstanding year. He's got 3 outstanding wide receivers, but his ability to have all the throws in his arsenal makes him so dangerous for Duke. And whenever you have all the throws, there's one guy in particular I like to get it to. How about the all-time leader in the ACC in receptions? all-time leader in the ACC in yards. And how about this? The all-time leader in consecutive games with a catch. The kid has been he lights out. He's lights out every year, every game. He's there for his quarterback.
Well, it's a great time to be a football fan in Durham. They're going to a bowl game. It's senior day. Miami's coming to town, and it's coming up.
I was full for Thanksgiving, but I'm hungry again looking at that. And we will talk about tailgating coming up. We're a week away from Florida State and Georgia Tech. Coming up, why this is the one matchup the Noles probably didn't want and why the ACC title game could be redemption for the Yellow Jackets. And there it is, tailgating, food. We get a taste of what it's like to be out at one of the stadiums today. That is next. You can't keep greatness in a box, so we won't. The ACC mobile app presented by Carrabba's. Imagine seeing this on this. That's greatness. For the ACC schools you live for, it's the app you can't live without. Available on your iPhone, iPad, Android, and Nokia Lumia Windows Phone. The ACC mobile app, live games, video, scores, stats, news, and greatness. Visit theacc.com/apps. Jeff Fishel here with another ACC Now and Then, brought to you by Ruby Tuesday. Boston College wide receiver Alex Amidon added to his new school record for receiving last weekend versus Virginia Tech. In 2007, former Eagles quarterback Matt Ryan set the ACC passing record with 4,507 yards. That year, Matty Ice was the Conference Player of the Year and the winner of the Johnny Unitas Award.
Brought to you by Ruby Tuesday. Enjoy our new mixed grill special starting at $11.99.
At the Jeep Summer Clearance event, you can make this summer your time. Time to find your power and lose your doubts. Time to steer clear of the ordinary and make room for the extraordinary. Just like the deals you'll find at the Jeep Summer Clearance event.
The ACC Digital Network, the ultimate video destination for ACC fans. Exclusive highlights, live streaming games, and original live programming, unique access to the student athletes of our time and the legendary voices of all time. Defining moments, personal stories, incredible analysis from authentic ACC sources, cutting-edge content from the leaders in the digital space. The ACC Digital Network, brought to you by Ruby Tuesday.
Experience unique culinary pairings with Ruby Tuesday's new mixed grill specials starting at $11.99, including our baby back ribs and bacon wrapped shrimp. And of course, enjoy our free garden bar with any mixed grill special or chef-inspired entree. Ruby Tuesday, it's all good here.
Tyler Hunter breaks the tackle, down the sideline, and into the end zone.
He's 40, he's 30, cuts back 20, stumbles, and he scores! Throwing deep, got highs there, makes the catch, touchdown Georgia Tech.
Manuel underneath, Green, first down and more. Green on the run, Green may go to the house. Rashad Green, touchdown Florida State.
That's the matchup next week in Charlotte for the ACC Championship, Florida State and Georgia Tech. Riley, I have to think the Noles will be the heavy favorite. People are going to expect the Noles to win this one, right?
They are, and they should. But before you can just give them the title, I mean, they've got to come to play because they're going to have a short week to get ready for Georgia Tech as they're focused on Florida right now. What I think Florida State needs to be prepared to do is play assignment football on defense. We say it every time Georgia Tech plays. You've got to play assignment football on defense. But on offense, be aggressive. Score as many points you can. You know you're going to have to score against this Georgia Tech team. Don't do what you did against NC State in the second half, and that's get conservative, throw this football short, and mainly just run. You got to keep your foot on the grass.
Dorsey, if this team if there's one team Florida State didn't want to see, it's Georgia Tech because of that offense. And we know Georgia Tech can pile up the points, but can they slow down Florida State enough?
It's going to be tough to slow them down. You know, defensively they really have struggled. You know, they're giving up over 30 points a game in the last 4 games. So I think it's going to be tough. You know, I don't see a lot of weaknesses on Florida State's team.
Right.
So we, as Georgia Tech guys, we have a work cut out for us.
We will be talking about this game all week. And, of course, next Saturday, a full hour at 6 p.m. here on the ACC Digital Network, brought to you by Ruby Tuesday. The Noles today versus Florida and Georgia Tech versus Georgia. Those are 2 of the 4 ACC versus SEC matchups. Let's talk about the keys to an ACC sweep. Riley, Wake beats Vanderbilt if?
Wake beats Vanderbilt if Tanner Price throws for 250 yards or more. They haven't been able to produce a lot of passing numbers this year, but I think if they get that air game, air attack going, I think they win if they get 250 or more.
Okay, Dorsey, Georgia Tech beats Georgia if
they play a perfect game. Everything has to go well for Georgia Tech in order for those guys to win. They have to play well offensively. They have to pass the ball on offense. They're going to have to make some stops on defense. They're going to have to make some plays on special teams, and they're going to have to win a turnover battle.
That's all.
You've covered about every recipe for success there.
Riley, Clemson beats South Carolina if.
I think if Clemson's defense holds South Carolina to under 21 points. We know Clemson's offense can put up the numbers, but it's a defense that's been struggling all year, giving up, almost 50 points to NC State the week before. That's going to be the biggest key, is slowing down that South Carolina offense.
And Dorsey, Florida State beats Florida if.
Florida State beats Florida if they score 21 points. We know how good Florida's defense is. They're only giving up 11 points a game this year. Offensively for Florida, they're banged up at quarterback. Jeff Driscoll has a hurt ankle. They haven't been scoring over 18 points a game the last 4 games because of the injuries. 21 is the magic number. They score 21, they win the game.
Well, we know LeBron James is rooting for Florida State. He tweeted out this morning, quote, "Seminoles, I believe we have some Gator bait today. Tomahawk, go Noles." I did not know LeBron was a Noles fan.
LeBron, he might be getting a little anger from his Miami surrounding fans and the games.
Don't alienate anyone.
Florida State's the farthest away from Miami.
We know there's one thing SEC and ACC fans can agree on: tailgating. Schools from both conferences are known for their high-quality tailgating. Tommy Kane had the tough assignment of joining in on the fun.
The Wolfpack know how to have a good time. Let's go, Pack! Let's go! Yeah, let's go, baby! We got some Canes over here! You gotta love when you come tailgate in Tallahassee. There is nothing like it, right, ladies?
Right.
Yeah!
Hey man, Miami Juice is what wins 5 national titles in 25 years. Miami Juice is what gives you 2 Heisman Trophy winners. And Miami Juice is what gave us 58 games straight where nobody came to our house and beat us.
Hanging out right now in the K1. Get ready to crank this place up. The C-A-N-E-S-K.
Here come the Yellow Jackets. They trying to slow this, but no, they can't, man. Here's some pro trips. Listen up closely. Here's ACC road trips. Now here's the question, man. Let us show this. It's to you.
What a great way to start day 2 of ACC road trip, and this place is going crazy. It's the Mini 500, baby. It's gonna be sweet. The early lead.
Sucks to be you!
What's it mean for you to come back to a homecoming like this?
It's great. Everybody's out tailgating. Everybody's been going since like 8 a.m. this morning, and so it's like a 12-hour-long tailgate.
That's what I'm talking about when you talk about North Carolina tailgating, NC State barbecue. That's what I'm talking about right there. What do you got going on here, man?
Right now we have a 100-pound pig, 600 hush puppies, and baked beans ready to go for all of our favorite tailgating fans out here today.
F-L-O-R-I-D-A-S-T-A-T-E. For state, for state, for state.
Let's go, Noles! Let's go!
go, Hokies. Let's go. Let's go.
Tommy's clearly been hard at work this football season. Now, you guys had work to do every Saturday and then on Sundays playing football. I don't know how much tailgating experience you have. Riley, how about you, though? You've acquired the ACC tailgating experience.
I grew up going to some Georgia games. I was a Georgia fan growing up. But in the ACC, I give it to Clemson. I've been to Clemson last year. My wife is there, unfortunately, so I got to go to those games. But that's the best tailgating to me in the ACC.
I'm not a big tailgating fan. I understand the food and the spirits. After that, I'm kind of bored.
He's ready for the game.
Yeah,
blatantly honest.
Pass Riley a bratwurst and a beverage right now. It'll make him feel better about his Saturday selections. We'll take a look at the standings, get the predictions for today's game. That's coming up next.
What do you call a machine that combines precision-engineered handling, industry-leading power, and a rider-focused design? We call it a Can-Am. From the essentials to fully loaded, you'll find that same combination in every ATV and side-by-side we build. And right now, get your own for as low as $149 a month. Can-Am, the ride says it all.
At the Jeep Summer Clearance Event, you can make this summer your time. Time to find your power and lose your doubts. Time to steer clear of the ordinary and make room for the extraordinary. Just like the deals you'll find at the Jeep Summer Clearance Event.
You can't keep greatness in a box, so we won't. The ACC mobile app presented by Carrabba's. Imagine seeing this on this. That's greatness. For the ACC schools you live for, it's the app you can't live without. Available on your iPhone, iPad, Android, and Nokia Lumia Windows Phone. The ACC mobile app, live games, videos, scores, stats, news, and greatness. Visit theacc.com/apps.
Ever wonder where unforgettable experiences meet unique culinary pairings? At Ruby Tuesday with our new mixed grill specials starting at $11.99. Including our new South Tropic Trio with a black fire sirloin, grilled chicken topped with fresh mango salsa, and jumbo coconut crusted shrimp, or savory ribs and bacon wrapped shrimp. And our fresh garden bar comes free with any of our mixed grill specials. Ruby Tuesday, it's all good here. Plus, this season, buy $50 in Ruby Tuesday gift cards and get a $15 bonus card absolutely free.
Why not try someplace different every morning? Get 2 times the points on dining in restaurants with J Sapphire Preferred.
It's time for Saturday selections. Here are the standings. Dorsey 5-0 last week. To get within one game of the fans, Riley gets the most inspirational player award.
Hardest trying.
Cannot win the title, but we'll let him keep picking games anyway. Virginia and Virginia Tech. Dorsey.
I'm going to go with Virginia Tech. I know it's been an up and down season, but I gave Logan Thomas a hard time. I think he gets on track today. Virginia
Feel
Tech.
bad for him. I'm going to go Virginia Tech, too. I think that quarterback controversy Virginia has is too tough right now.
All right, Maryland and North Carolina, Dorsey.
I'm going to go with North Carolina and Gio Bernard and what I think may be his last college game.
They may be dating soon, him and Gio Bernard. I'm going with North Carolina as well, though. Maryland is just in disarray.
BC at North Carolina State, Dorsey.
I'm going to go with North Carolina State. I think Mike Glennon continues his great passing.
I agree with you. I go NC State. Boston College just gives up too many points right now and has no running game whatsoever.
And Miami and Duke, Dorsey.
Well, initially I picked Miami, but I can't beat the fans if I stick with Miami, so I'm going to switch over and go to Duke.
They have it updated on the graphic.
Oh, they do have it. Good. We're on the same page.
I'm going Duke, too. I think Miami, they don't have anything to play for anymore. And Duke, 6 wins, I don't think was good enough. They've been on a huge losing streak. They got to get some momentum going into their bowl game.
All right, so who are you picking in these games? Let's go to Kelly Nash. Kelly, who did the fans pick on the ACC Facebook page?
Well, let's go to the Virginia Tech page. This is going to shock you guys. Fans say Hokies, their 19-year bowl streak ends today. 54% went Cavaliers.
That is a surprise. Going with the Cavs today in the Commonwealth Cup.
Did they see what Virginia did last week against North Carolina? Gosh, I don't understand that pick.
All right, here's one more look at the Saturday schedule. Georgia Tech and Georgia. Virginia and Virginia Tech, they both start. We're just minutes from kickoff in those games. At 12:30, it's Miami and Duke. Then the 3 o'clock games, Maryland, North Carolina, Boston College, and NC State. At 3:30, Florida versus Florida State. Can the Noles get some BCS respect? And Vanderbilt and Wake Forest. The Demon Deacons need a win to get to be bowl eligible. And then the nightcap, South Carolina and Clemson. Thanks for watching ACC Kickoff Live all season. Next week, special coverage of the ACC Championship game. Kickoff at 8 Eastern next Saturday night. Our show will be live from 6 to 7 Eastern, and you can only see it on the ACC.com and the ACC Digital Network channel on YouTube. The best highlights, must-see moments, and analysis all day on the ACC DN. ACC Blitz is next.